Ricardo Martinez, the WBA featherweight world champion, has finally arrived in Japan. We're now just 2 weeks away from his long-awaited clash against the Tiger of Naniwa, Takeshi Sendo. But what will happen in that fight? Today, we'll dive into 3 possible outcomes. 3 different scenarios that could unfold. And honestly, I find all of them plausible. We'll save the most popular theory in the community for last. Let's get into it. 1. Sendo pulls off the upset. For some, this might sound ridiculous. But for many fans, there's a real possibility that Morikawa decides to throw a massive twist into the story. One where Takeshi Sendo somehow defeats Ricardo Martinez. One of the key precedents that gives this theory weight is Ryo Mashiba's shocking loss. Most fans expected him to win against Marcus Rosario. But Morikawa subverted expectations and gave us a brutal twist. Mashiba not only lost, but ended up in the hospital. So it wouldn't be a surprise if Morikawa pulled another unexpected move in this fight, leading to a result no one saw coming. Besides, Sendo has a history of miracles in Hajime no Ippo. How many times has he been on the verge of defeat, only to come back with one devastating punch, a perfectly landed smash? Let's not forget what Ippo Makunuchi once said, "If there's anyone who can beat Ricardo, it's Sendo." And that logic tracks. Ippo explains that facing someone like Sendo, with his raw instinct, ferocity, and determination, makes it almost impossible not to engage in a brawl. No matter how technical or professional you are, Sendo drags you into a fight of pride and raw power. We've already seen Ricardo fall into this trap once. In his fight against Wally, he let his emotions take over and ended up exchanging blows with someone far below his level, and he even took some damage. Now imagine that same scenario, but with Sendo, who hits way harder than Wally ever could. Sendo's punches could easily be 10, maybe 100 times more damaging than an average featherweight's. One clean shot could shift the entire momentum of the fight, even if Ricardo lands dozens of precise blows. We already saw Ricardo light up with excitement just from locking eyes with Sendo. Once they're in the ring and Ricardo unleashes his true self, a slugfest becomes highly likely, and that's where Sendo thrives. 2. The fight ends in a draw. This idea isn't too far-fetched either, and it stems from the real-life inspiration behind Ricardo Martinez, Mexican boxer Ricardo Finito Lopez. He retired undefeated, but not spotless. He had one draw against Rosendo Alvarez. That was the only blemish on his record, and some fans believe Morikawa might replicate that moment in the manga, giving Ricardo Martinez a single draw, and who better than Sendo to be his Rosendo? The names even line up oddly well. But how could this happen in story? Well, imagine Sendo landing a massive blow, shaking Ricardo for the first time. Imagine Ricardo in pure survival mode, fighting just to stay on his feet. If Sendo dominates the later rounds, causing multiple knockdowns, he could close the gap in points. A judge's decision could end up being a split draw, and that would give us a rare sight. Ricardo Martinez in pain, enduring real damage, pushing through exhaustion and fear of losing. 3. Sendo loses, most likely outcome. This is the theory most fans agree on. Ricardo Martinez has always been portrayed as an unbeatable force. As Sendo himself once said, undefeated doesn't mean invincible. Still, Ricardo's record speaks for itself. He's destroyed countless elite opponents, even world champions like Billy McCollum, whom he dismantled with just his left hand. With Ricardo's flawless technical style, it's easy to imagine him overwhelming Sendo's wild, chaotic fighting style. But there's more to this theory, something that goes deeper. Many believe that Sendo's character is heavily inspired by Joe Yabuki, the protagonist of the legendary boxing manga Ashita no Joe. Spoiler alert for Ashita no Joe coming up. In the final moments of that manga, Joe faces the world champion Jose Mendoza, another elegant, technical Mexican boxer, a clear parallel to Ricardo. While the ending is left open to interpretation, the most common belief is that Joe dies in the corner after the fight, having given it everything he had, so much so that he never hears the judge's decision. Even so, Joe accomplished something extraordinary. He didn't just damage Mendoza, he destroyed him, broke his will, and ended his career as a boxer. Some fans believe Sendo may follow in Joe's footsteps, that this fight will be his final stand. Personally, though, I don't think that's likely. Hajime no Ippo already paid tribute to that iconic scene when Sendo was knocked out by Ippo and left unconscious in the corner. That was a clear homage to Joe Yabuki's final scene. Plus, considering that Morikawa is a massive Ashita no Joe fan, it's very possible that Joe's tragic ending broke his heart, and that now, through Sendo, he wants to rewrite it, to give that kind of character a different fate, maybe one with hope. So, those were 3 possible outcomes for the upcoming fight between Sendo and Ricardo Martinez, and I'm honestly so hyped. Let me know in the comments, which theory is your favorite, which one do you think will happen, and most importantly, which one do you want to happen? Good night and thanks for watching.